catching up with Jagged Little Pill's Kathryn Gallagher now. Kathryn, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. First, congrats. Because I mean, there's 15 Tony nominations for a Jagged Little Pill, a Grammy nomination for Best Musical Theater Album. What is it like just sharing in this amazing recognition with your cast?
I mean, it's been really special. It's been obviously, most of us have worked together for 3 years straight and we've become such a family. And to have this sort of celebration come and bring us all together when we're all scattered, you can't wish for anything more than getting to share this celebration with this, family that you built.
Speaking of family, back in March, you were quarantining in Connecticut with your family. What was the experience like, kind of just like taking a step back?
We were 4 months into our run already. So it was already at that point where when I heard there was a 4-week break, I was like, wow, we're going to be so well rested when we get back.
Yeah.
But, it was really special. It was definitely, I took the opportunity to sort of learn a lot of music production. And I ended up releasing 2 EPs that I had worked on over over the summer.
And to that,
I learned to garden, which I'd never done before. So it was definitely this time where every single thing I'd always been like, maybe one day I'll do this. Yeah. I got the chance to do.
I can't even believe I'm saying this, but we're going on almost a year of the Broadway shutdown, and a lot of theater fans have been kind of coping by listening to cast albums, sharing some of their favorite Broadway memories. What have you been doing to kind of stay in touch with that side of you?
I literally woke up listening to Into the Woods today. Into the Woods was sort of my cast album in the morning.
Yeah.
But I've really gone back and gone to some of the greats. I watched Sweet Charity recently. I've been taking dance classes every morning, and I took a Fosse class the other day, which just I really didn't crush, but it inspired me nonetheless. And just, keeping in touch with my community, making sure every time there's an opportunity to get together and sing on Zoom or on one of these things, it's been, little reminders that there is this huge community of incredibly talented people that we're so used to seeing each other, out at a restaurant after a show or on 8th Avenue before half hour. And the lack of that is really just trying to fill that void with as many cast albums as I possibly can.
You mentioned before that you did a couple of albums, but you managed to not write, produce, record, release 2 albums. First of all, how do you do that? Are you always working on them? And there was you were working on them before the pandemic and you finished them?
I never heard it said all in a row. That sounded really cool.
Right? You're like, I mean, that's pretty amazing. That
I was like, whoa, I did. I'm always writing songs. It's generally the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning. I pick up my guitar, the notes app on my phone. It's just lyric ideas, and my, voice memos is just gibberish of different melodies. So I think that when the pandemic started, when you're on Broadway and you're doing 8 shows a week, you have to save your voice. So I could have 1 session a week, but that was pretty much it. And I wasn't recording and I wasn't writing as much. And then the very first night of the Broadway shutdown, I went up to Connecticut. I set up a mic that I kind of had a feeling we might have a little bit of a break from the show just by watching the news. So I had pre-ordered a mic and all of these things that I might need. And I set up a little studio in my grandmother's old room in our house. And I recorded one of the songs from my first EP, Friends to Entertain. And I put that on Instagram that night. People responded so nicely that I was like, wow, maybe I could do all of these things that I've outsourced my whole life myself.
And you posted a really fun dance party for your song, Nostalgic for the Moment, which is featuring a bunch of your Broadway friends, which I love. But I feel I don't know if you did dance parties before the pandemic, but I feel like this is something that should continue.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that video came to be because for me, whenever my group of friends from high school, we are the kings and queens of dance parties. Every time anyone is sad, dance parties happen. My best friend and I, same way. If we're feeling sad, there was one night we were having a tough night and I was really sad and we FaceTimed and just blasted emo music and danced. So when it came time for this video, I was like, all I want to do is dance in a room with my friends. Obviously that can't happen. So I just texted all of my favorite people and was like, hey, would you dance to this song and film yourself? And they all said yes.
It's been such a pleasure chatting with you today. Be sure to check out Kathryn's music at KathrynGallaghermusic.com and follow her on social media at Kathryn Gallagher. Kathryn, thank you so much.
Thank you. This was such a pleasure.